Select a blank template, then drag the step function start execution icon in the workflow as the first state. Scroll down to the integration pattern section and confirm that the option to wait for child execution to complete is selected. Consider this. You have an AWS Step Function and you want to call it from within another step function. Can you even create a nested step function state machine? Let's find out. Let's start by navigating to the Lambda service, then click on Create Function and give it a name. Choose Python from the runtime dropdown, hit Create, then navigate to the code source section. Here, I'm going to copy paste pre-written Python code that starts by importing the time module. Then on line 4, inside the Lambda handler, I'm extracting the file name from our event in a file name variable. On line 5, I'm extracting the last 3 characters from my file name and storing it in the file type variable. On line 6, I'm introducing a 2-second delay to slow down the execution. Finally, on line 7, I'm returning a JSON message with a key value pair for my file type. Hit deploy to deploy your changes, then click on the test button to configure your test event and give it a name. In the event JSON section, I'm going to replace key with file name and value with sample.png. Then hit save. Click on test again to execute your Lambda function and confirm that you see file type as PNG in the response output. Next, let's navigate to the step function service, then click on get started. Choose create your own state machine, then drag the AWS Lambda invoke icon in your workflow as your first state. Select the Lambda function that we just created from the function name dropdown, then hit the create button. Confirm the execution role creation, then click on start execution. In the input JSON section, I'm going to specify a file name of sample.png, then hit the start execution button. Scroll down to the graph view and confirm that your state machine is successfully executed. Also confirm the input and output values from your Lambda invoke step. Next, let's head back to the step function service and create one more state machine. Select a blank template, then drag the step function start execution icon in the workflow as the first state. Scroll down to the integration pattern section and confirm that the option to wait for child execution to complete is selected. In the API parameter section, I'm going to copy paste this JSON template. In the JSON template, it specifies the state machine ARN, and for input, it takes in the file name variable and its value. Let's replace the state machine ARN with the actual ARN of the state machine that we just created. Then navigate to the flow tab. I'm going to drag the choice icon under step functions, then click on rule number 1. Click on add conditions button, then specify $.file type in your JSON path variable. $ means the root object and dot means the child operator in your JSON message. I'm going to specify a string value of PNG for file type, then hit save. Since I want my state machine to be successful when the file type is equal to PNG, I'm going to drag the success icon under rule number 1. Let's also drag the fail icon under the default rule so our state machine fails if the file type is not equal to PNG. Now that our workflow is complete, let's review it. We start by calling the step functions, which in turn calls our Lambda function, which takes the file name as the input. The Lambda function spits out the file type, and if the file type is PNG, we mark the state machine as success, else we mark it as failed. Hit the create button, confirm execution role creation, then click on the Start Execution button. In the input JSON, I'm going to specify the file name as sample.png, then click on Start Execution. Looks like our state machine failed in the choice step because the $.fileType path was considered invalid. Let's look at the Output tab from our Step Function step to investigate further. It seems like the file type key value pair is nested under the output element. To fix this, scroll up and click on the Edit State Machine button. Click on rule number 1, then hit Edit Conditions. Replace the existing variable with $.output.fileType, then hit Save. Hit Execute, enter a file name of sample.png, then click on Start Execution. Scroll down to the graph view and confirm that this time your state machine is successful. Let's do one more test. Watch what happens if I change the integration pattern to call and continue and re-execute the state machine. This time, my state machine failed right away because the step function step did not wait for the Lambda function to complete. There you have it. But before you go, here's a question for you. Why do the AWS Step Functions get invited to all the cool parties?